Right, hello everyone. I wanted to bring you today out to this place, which is about 10 minutes from my house, yeah. And it's like a bit of land that I keep walking through, and I just tried to record a video and it stopped like 7 minutes in. It's really annoying, so I just obviously have to do it again. But what I wanted to show you was like, I keep getting weird, like I walk my dogs through different ways. There's always different ways back and stuff, so sometimes my dogs will go like this and they'll find somewhere and they feel energy or they smell something, so they want to go. It's always where like the pheasants are or the rabbits, so we can't let them off the lead because I keep having to dig them out of rabbit holes and stuff. So literally, when I say the rabbit hole, I've studied the rabbit hole, quite literally the actual rabbit hole, which is chalk. So, you know, loads of them meet up together and we have to not let our dogs off. So I know where most of them are. But what I wanted to do was show you like this area, because there's where my horses are, there's like artefacts in like the British Museum and stuff, I think, where they used to do sacrifices, and there's a lot of areas where my head pings here. So like my dogs, when they go for certain areas, I started noticing the patterns of like by trees that are full of ivy, yeah. But I started noticing they're on like these kind of mound areas. So like here, what I'm getting at is where my stables is, where my horse is at the top, but you can see 360 all the way around, like nothing in eye view. And these places here, there's a couple where they're like, you can see around. So at pools where my stables is artifacts of like daggers and things been found there. And like the wells there I was talking about before, dug out by like Napoleon prisoners and that. And then we have these areas, and under this tree down here in this field, my head keeps pinging by it, like I keep getting this weird energy in my crown chakra by it, and it doesn't happen in a lot of places. So I've been trying to figure out what it is. I just went to show you the view from up here. Record a video for a little bit through here, through these fields. I just noticed that he's actually put up some gates for the cows now. Sometimes I come out and hang out with the cows here, and yeah, there's people walking and stuff. A lot of like kennels. I study like where these power things are as well. You see the things that look like mini Eiffel Towers. Because obviously, like if there is smoke outside, it's just what I'm trying to think. And then they're like, how are they getting the capacitance, the energy out? And then they must be powering up cities and things like that. And there's loads of birds and stuff here. You know, because they're running it all off of our energy. If everything is source energy, then everything's running off everything else, and it's running in the wrong direction. So we need to change the direction of things. The reason I'm doing this video, I've been wanting to do it in this tree, I said for ages. It's annoying because they put up the cow trap thing to get in and out through around by this tree, but it's alright. So bonezee, I love you. Literally the video you did yesterday, I've been coming up with these things for a while, like how energy's crossing and then being mined out. So yeah, I'm in the tree now. So yeah, the whole way along this bit here, my head's been pinging with energy. But it's like these are no, the person that owns these fields as well. Have just cows and sheep and goats and stuff in that I come hang out with. They're in that field over there now. They're less timid around me now. So this is the tree. He's just put all this fencing up, doesn't it? That's great now. Get his cows out. This is the tree. It's 9 pieces. See the wind blowing already. It's just, I don't know what it is, it's just talking to me. And then this little area here I find pretty weird too. And like it's only just from like here up that road a little bit. Yeah, and then behind me, like along a little bit, there's like a certain section of it here where I can feel energy. She agrees. She agrees. So I drew on it already, the other side. Oh, there you can kind of see it. I was drawing on it the other day with the chalk, because I got a few of my lumps of chalk I did carvings from this field as well. So yeah. So yeah, what I want to talk about. Sun might be in you there, I don't know. Is that a bit better? Not really. Sorry guys, I'll put you there. Okay, loudy. So there's a few things I want to talk about. I'm just going to say them like in bits, because there's a few people watching my videos right now and there's stuff resonating in and out. I'm just going to lay out some of my stones. Oh my god, what is going on? See, the energy's weird here in this spot. I'm even getting really weird energy. So there's 9 bits to this tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I even feel like I'm echoing just being in here. It's really weird energy. Yeah, my head literally, it's just my crown. It's just going crazy when I'm here. So yeah, I've got 2 bits, one from rock and both from Sahara. I'm just going to do a little grid while we're in here. Amethyst, like similar one I did last time, and then I've got my shell from Cambodia, which looks like the fractal, the Mandelbrot set. Because this is actually conscious, and we're talking about bones and stuff, like how is it forming the shape of bones as well? Because like when you watch the human calculator, that's Scott Farsberg, and that when you're talking about like the 1.6, which is the golden ratio and stuff, it's actually the size of our bones. Do you know what I mean? And then that is the size like in half, and then they lay out the cars and stuff like Ferraris and that would have the same. So it's like tapping into us at a cellular level. Like the video I posted yesterday, yeah, with the top of the tourist field. She agrees. The top of the tourist field is what we basically need unknotted, is what I think, because I haven't stopped drawing the tourist field, and I think we need it unknotted. But the one main thing I want to talk about today is the crossovers of energy. This is from South Africa. The crossovers of energy. I'm going to try my singing bowl in here. So like picture this as the echoes going out, because it's going to go like the knots inside these trees would be like a ball. Like when trees are cut that way, you can see the circle. But when you put the tree back together and you can see it in the mind's eye, it's like a ball, like a circle, you know. And then all of these would be ringing out the same circles. It's like when you look at a set of woods and you picture the fields between them, not particles, fields, because the trees grow out like this. So it would be rings the same as this singing bowl. Wouldn't it? Really? It would be kind of similar to the singing bowl. Stay. So it's kind of slipping a little bit. I'm going to play around with this after for a bit. That feels really strong in here. Like outside they're so different to inside, like I said, because it's bouncing different. The sound is outside is really different, but in here obviously it's bouncing through these trees. So yeah, right, bonezee, I love you. You're amazing. So you were talking in your video about the 5 brains here. That we have 5 brains, because I've been looking at things recently talking about like the crossovers of energy. So for instance, I'm going to try, this might be a little bit split up, but they all have the same core thing that I'm talking about, basically. And it comes down to, like when they're playing a song of when they're playing music, yeah, it would have like a lyric, yeah, that would go into this part of the brain. So Bonezee, you were saying that we have this part. You've used all these big words that I'm not going to repeat because they don't mean anything. No offence. What you're saying is completely spot on from your own perception of what you can see, but the words they're using are not right. Because language is like another separation fracture. So you're saying we have the cerebral, whatever, you have this part, then you're saying the brain is a heart, then you have like the solar plexus, which I completely agree with, and this actually mirroring everything that I'm saying with it's mirroring everything I'm saying with the crossover energies. So I think this is how they're doing it. So like we have like museums, schools, blah blah blah, all this stuff. It acts in the same way of crossover energies of these brains. So like one, for instance, would be when you're listening to a track of music on the radio, because I hear this all the time. My little sister, you know, she plays all these music. My little sister loves all the Chanel, the logos too, so I can literally see what they're doing to her. Because I've been, like, I didn't used to live back home, but I come back home since I got sick, and now I've watched her like evolve into a teenager and then become almost like a female adult, like become an adult. So I'm seeing the deterioration quickly within this like teenage years and how they're doing it, and it's like the music she listens to is really, really heart based, so it sends you straight into the heart, like makes you feel love, makes you feel in the heart. So that would be that brain. And then what else it's doing after is or at the same time, sorry, it's running this brain that they've programmed, so it would be like saying lyrics that would be like, it would be playing love music that would make you go in the heart, so it would feel the energy, open the heart, and then it would say something like, oh, you cheated on me, or I hate you, or we'll never be together, we'll never do this. It's something really negative versus something that's physically really positive. So it's like you're programming yourself in one of these realms that you're talking about, all these brains, because they're crossing them over in how we've been programmed and how things function. And then this is causing like a stress energy, you know, like petrification literally, when things turn into stone. My voice has gone really weird since I've come in this field. This is what I mean. So yeah, it's like the crossover, isn't it? And so I'm listening to the music and I'm feeling the energy, and I'm like, oh, but then my brain's listening to what it's saying, and then it's pushing it against each other, and it's not right. It's not right for people to be subconsciously a deep program in taking this stuff. It's not right, because they're doing it on all the TV adverts, they're doing it in all the cities, they're doing it in all jobs, you know, getting people to strive forward to be a manager. I stepped back from being a manager because when I did it hurt my left brain so much, and I was overdoing it so much. I was a really good manager, but then it shut my art out because I didn't have the energy to do the art because of the stress and everything from doing that. So, you know, they get everyone to strive forward, and then people are wanting to put all their good energy that they're feeling into work, which is like slaves, you know, like the fleur de lis. Even most of my horse riding stuff has the fleur de lis on it, the horsey stuff. I was looking at most of it today, like my droppers and all that have all got fleur de lis on, you know, all the horsey, because I deal with a lot of horsey stuff around here. But anyway, it all comes down to these crossover conjunctions. And then I was thinking about the brain, because I see the skin as a brain as well. I see the skin as a brain. So like, yeah, you're saying we have 5 brains, and then you're saying this, and then that, and then you're saying when the babies are born, it's like after 12 days, it's this one line bit. So what I'm saying, when we're linking it to like the memory and bones, what I was thinking of was like, how would these affect the senses, is what I was trying to put together from your video yesterday, bonezee. I think we should Skype. Can we Skype? I'm going to, I'll message you back on this. I think we should Skype and have a chat, because obviously what we're both seeing is mirroring, but then we need to cut the language away, and you're not really up for the language either, because you're saying it was this, it was that, blah, 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 as well. And then another thing I wanted to talk about was like the 3. So I was seeing one thing with the 3. So like when I had my thing out yesterday, it was like this, it was like it bounces. So when I'm saying about the sun and the moon, we're looking at the 3, like the input output of the sun coming in and then the moon taking. But the thing is, I think the moon is actually a satellite, and there's meant to be prisms on the other side of it, so it's sucking our souls sucking our souls in, and then you're listening, sucking our souls in, and they're coming back down. So we can't actually really shut the moon out and stop worshipping it either, because there is loads of our essence in there, and then it would be like split, you know, like some of our body water would stay here, some of it's going up there, and then it's like being like harvested, and then it's obviously linked with Saturn, which has the hexagon on it. So how is it playing with light? Because if you watch my video I posted yesterday with the top of the tourist field, and how I wanted you to see how it's bouncing light, because these are the kind of shapes that we want to be harnessing light and sound around us, not squares. And then obviously like Saturn is set up with the cube, because the inside of a hexagon creates a cube, and then that is bouncing down to the moon, and then the sun, not the sun, the earth. So we've got this trine with like Saturn, the moon and earth. So what I was seeing yesterday was that when I was bouncing light from the sun into that shape, yeah, that was bouncing light then into me. So that's a 3. So you've got like the input, and then something, the bounce, and then the intake. So there's like this bounce between the 3, because then you've got like the subject, what's being directed, and then where it goes, and then what, it's like this 3, and I keep seeing it again and again and again. So it's like the same with the harvesting, like they have us, they have the link with the harvesting, they have where it goes out of us. So like we're like transmitter, we're like solar panel, you know, because I'm seeing since like I've been studying this for ages, this tech, because this is a filter. Yeah, this is a filter, this camera, this is an eye, because one of the biggest paedophile like dungeons or whatever bases is under the arts. It's linked all with the arts, so the Getty Museum, and that has a Getty iris on it, which is this. It has a Getty iris on it, yeah. So that is again on the front, and it even has a cactus garden there as well. So I have loads of links with this, but what I'm saying is the eye is linking, because this is, they're using this like a deity. I'm seeing they use this like a god, where they're putting energy. This eye, this tech has an eye in it, like on the back of this and on the front of this, that everybody has. So we're living through this eye, and they're giving energy to it. Sorry, I need to put on. This is like a deity I'm seeing, or like a god, like something they're putting energy into, because I tapped into it in and out of it, and I'm seeing that they're using it because the eye, they care about this. So they've recreated it like the eye of Ra would be the camera, the big brother. Yeah, it's like an actual deity. They're giving life to it, and we're all using it. We're living in and out of it. I'm talking to all of you through here, so it's through a filter of this eye, because yes, I've got my eyes and we're communicating through this, but it's all being filmed through this eye. So actually this is in control right now of all of these dimensions. So this eye is like a mimic of us. So it's like taking over. They've like given life to a different life force, if you see what I'm saying. Because when I'm shining certain things through this, or when I'm capturing like certain ways through this, through these eyes, they're getting confused. They're getting confused. It's like when you do certain roles on it, like I was doing with my artwork and that. Like it only understands certain colours and wavelengths and frequencies, so it's like a programmed eye is what I'm seeing. They're doing something with it, with the way it's set up, or like moving through it, you know, like a lot is coming down, you know, our eyes are taking things into these 5 brains. So yes, you're right, because I'm saying about harmonising the 5 senses, but then would the intake, you know, be through touch, through smell, through these, like, yes, bonezee, you're completely right. Should we be levelling out all of these? How does what you're saying fit in with the 5 senses? And then we need to untangle all of these weaves, these crosses of energy. Like when you go into a museum, for instance, you're looking at all these old artifacts and you're like, oh, and it's making you feel, or you're going to the cinema, or you're going to these things, it's making you feel, but then they're converging again, like the music and the underlay and subconscious layering on top. So it's all these little weaves that they've got going on. They're weaves, yeah. This is how I see them, because this is what I was trying to level out with all my schizophrenic friends that aren't schizophrenic. They're actually very talented people, yeah. And it all comes down to dopamine. So how does dopamine fit in with these brain functions and things like that? How does that fit in? You know, how do we level all these back together? Because through going into all this stuff and understanding it, then that's how we can unravel it. Because we do need to unravel it, and we need to enhance it. We need to just change the shape and form of everything and go back to the start, like I said. Because when you take away binary code, courts don't exist. When you take away binary code, schools and education doesn't exist in that way. When you take away binary code, you know, birth certificates, death certificates don't exist, NHS doesn't exist, none of these things exist. So what does it actually exist? Well, frequency exists, colour and shape and form. Yeah, and then energy. So they're converging frequencies of energy into the wrong funnels, if you like, and then they're taking them like beams. I see it like beams, you know, like the top of these crystals. A lot of the kids I give them to, the first thing they want to do when they're shaped like this is smash them up. And I was thinking about it, you know, because compare this to this. Because we've obviously made them like this. I don't think crystals should be made like this. Because when you picture that crystal, how does that bounce light? How is this bouncing light? It's only beaming it out the top and the bottom. So that's actually restricting it. Whereas when I'm holding this one, how is this one beaming light? Because when I could easily draw this. That's really easy for me to draw. But trying to draw this with all these different, look how nature, look, every single way I move that, it refracts light in a completely different manner. And I know how complex these were because I can't draw this. I couldn't draw this because it's so complex. Like, look how many light refractions are coming off of that right now. So when you picture this holding light, that's going to beam light of every part of that, like the way it shines. Whereas with something like this, it isn't. It's just converting it to a centre point. Now, I could kind of see us the same way in the way that we think, you know, we're just being directed through language or through this way, but actually we're spinning out of all these brains and all these different things, you know. An octopus has 3 hearts and 9 brains. They don't have any bones, they're completely like jelly. You know, they function in the way that octopuses do because they fracture so many parts of our mind, like we've all been fractured parts of our mind, which really goes through all these brain crossovers and separations, you know. Your gut's eating food, that's confused, you're looking at this, that's doing that, your brain, your body is so much is going on, and they wonder why we are the way we are right now, and this is why. So the people actually, even our royal family and that, feeding off of all these kids and all the child abuse that is going on here right now, yeah, it needs to stop, and it needs to stop from us acknowledging, you know, that we know how to bring down the junk DNA now. We know how to do that. Even the people that are doing all these things, abusing these kids, they don't want to be doing it either. They actually don't want to be doing it either, and they want the junk DNA lit up as well, because they want to go back to source. They were also once like us. These people doing all this stuff with these kids, trying to get the creativity, trying to get the source energy, they were once like us as well. They were once like us. They could, you know, or like, even though we're a bit of a lower dimension now as well, in, you know, they were also higher form of source at 1.2, but they've gone down to that point as well. You know, so they actually need the junk DNA lit up, but they're the furthest away from lighting it up. So you need the people closest to it to bring it down, and eventually they'll get a bit of it either. But their karma will be the stretch of, you know, that process they've got to go from being the furthest away from it, from coming up to it. So that's the longest process, the hardest, the most in between it. You know, we're still not that furthest away, but they are feeding off of us right now. So it does need to stop, and we need to just keep bringing down the junk DNA, and then it will like level out the whole thing eventually. Is how I'm seeing it. So. Yeah, right, I'm on 26 now. Let's have another little go at this. Right, anyway, I'm out. My nose is proper running, and I need to go back, take my dogs out now. Probably back around here. So yeah, it's a really nice day today anyway. Charging my crystals, and yeah, just everyone needs to just stay grounded and just keep carrying on what we're doing, because things are changing no matter what now. There's too many people awake. So yeah, we just see what happens, take it step by step, and just keep recording the videos, because the telepathy is obviously strengthening now. And Mr. D in the mix. Thank you. I need to talk to you as well, because there was another thing about pubs that I'll bring up really quickly, that you are right about the pubs. I was meant to say, because we were talking about the other places, like obviously I've worked at a lot of pubs called the Cricketers, and then the Nag's Head in Covent Garden, which Covent Garden is actually near Holborn, which is holding like a lot of stuff's going on around that area underground, like really important. Most of my family back in the years have all worked in Covent Garden. Like my mum's side and my dad's side, they're both from London, so I have a lot in my bloodline from there, and yeah, a lot